I want to start this video by talking about how I've transitioned from a beginner racer on Zwift, doing perhaps 2.8 watts a kilo, uh, definitely a beginner, category D stroke C, let's be honest, to where I am today, intermediate, I'd say. I am classified as a B rider, but I'd still categorise myself as a high C racer. But I've gone from a watts per kilo perspective, that being a true indicator, and bearing in mind I'm roughly between 75, 76 and a half kilos through 2025. I'm now 3.7 watts per kilo, pushing nearly 280 watts FTP, which has gone up nearly 35, well, between 35 and 40 watts since January. Strangely, in January, I was, as recorded on Zwift, 3.2 watts per kilo. However, I'd never calibrated the bike, and when I was on the old Wahoo Kicker, when I did a calibration, and then when Zwift went on to an automated calibration, the reality was I was overstating my wattage. I'd taken this up with a ticket with Zwift, and it's really annoying because I was thinking I was 3.2 watts a kilo and improving from 2.8 in 2023-24. The reality was I was just below 3 watts a kilo, and I proved that. I tried changing every variable. I tried calibration. I tried a hard, fast reset of the kit, to the extent that Zwift told me there was an issue, and there was a previous issue, and it hadn't calibrated correctly. And the reality was I was no more than 3 watts a kilo, which was super depressing. So in May, I got the new kit delivered from Zwift. Fantastic. Customer service, fantastic. We'd gone back and forth with emails. I had the evidence of everything, and they found out when it got back to the factory there was, in fact, an issue. However, that doesn't change the fact that I was quite squarely let's say mid-level to high-level beginner. So after getting over that, I got my actual racing bike in good nick, and I put it on the new kicker, calibrated. Obviously, it's auto-calibrated. Got everything set up perfectly, and in the last 12 to 15 weeks, I've really began to make a difference. Now, considering my weight, it's in the last 12 weeks it's gone from 76 kilos to 75 kilos. There's not much else I can do except if I went on a super hot nutritional program, and I'd need to really change that that's the next step basically. But I work full time. You've got the dark nights coming in now. The clocks went back today in the UK, and the reality is, you're not a pro athlete. I'm racing 2 times a week, but this is how I've gone from from a beginner to what I'd class as an intermediate. I'm now doing 3.7 watts a kilo, almost touching 3.8. I've got the FTP to back that up. And what I want to say is how I've done it. And it's not been on weight loss. It's been through structured training, a combination of outdoor riding, longer rides, short indoor sprint intervals. That's been an absolute key, because I'm not, I'd call myself a beginner from a sprinter's perspective. That's the reality. But the structured program has been a combination of sprints, long rides, but the most effective, the absolute key to my improvements in the last 4 weeks in particular have been the Zwift Racing series. think that was in August, and sorry, late August, September, and this recent racing series, the Zwift Unlocked, has been absolutely incredible for me. Doing this twice a week with a longer ride in between and a bit of work and some Zwift workouts. As I said, testing my sprinting and short riding pace. So I've done 2 races a week, and the first races generally I've tried to go in a category higher than mine, and then with a bit of a recce. And then the second race, I've really gone out in my correct category, the one I'm used to, the one I'm most comfortable, the one I should be riding in. And not only do I know the course, know where to sprint, to climb, to draft, to defend, to attack. You know, you've been racing against much stronger riders, and it really, really tells. And this is what's been the improvements. Having 2 or 3 days rest days in between, and yeah, that's been the difference, and that's taken me from a beginner to an intermediate Zwift racer. My next target is 2025. I want to break the 4 watts per kilo barrier, which for me would be over 300 watts FTP. That's what I want to do in the new year. That's my 2026 challenge, and I'm 50 next August, so I want to be doing 4 watts a kilo consistently, leading into my 50th year, which, well, would potentially put me as a high B rider and on the cusp of being a Cat A rider, which at 50 years old would be a huge achievement, and that's my objective. So there you go, and I'm going to do that through more structured training. It really does help in the UK. I'm riding in an outdoor shed, and with the cooler weather, it helps immensely, especially on these 15-mile and below races where it's very high intensity. You're doing 170 to 180 beats per minute over the course of that time, which is very high intensity, and the cooler weather really helps. So this winter I'm hoping to get certainly to 3.8 watts a kilo, and let's see, by December the 31st, on a freezing day, I might break the 4 watts a kilo. Let's see. But that's my intention, that's my goal, and yeah, more structured training. Thank you. So today I'm doing something a little bit different as part of my structured training. I'm coming away from, I'm waiting for the stage 4 New York City Zwift Unlocked to arrive in the UK. So today, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to do a bit of a longer ride. Top right, looping lava. I think it's about 1,400 feet climb. After the lead-in, it's about 20 miles distance. I'm in the ZRS category 350 to 510. I'm currently about 440 ZRS. Been creeping up considerably in the last month. So this is a bit of a longer ride. The Unlock series of 15 to, 7.5 miles, I think, was the shortest one I did. So this is a bit more distance, probably going to be 50 minutes to an hour, I'm guessing, at the pace I'm looking at. Wanted to test myself on a bit more endurance here. Could I keep it going in this category? And aiming to finish in the top 10 out of 33. What's the ride called? The Rebels RL. It's Spring Sprint, so something new on this Watopia course. And the big climb, as you can see, 2/3 through, and you got to do this twice on 2 laps, is the up the lava volcano. So yeah, very interesting this. Bit of an interesting test, a bit longer than usual. I was interested to see how I could fare. Needed to be real tactical, keeping the draft for large parts. It's not like an unlocked race where it's absolutely intense. There's a bit of thinking here. Everyone's planning, I guess, to wait until they go over the first peak. Structure-wise, planning-wise, for here, I wanted to stay at the front on the climbs, get over the peaks on the climbs. I'm reckoning on the second lap. Obviously, if I go over that big peak and I'm not in the top 10, it's just a descent and probably half a mile to the sprint finish on the flat there. So if you are not in the top 10 on that descent, you're in a bit of trouble, to be honest. So I'm sitting right in the pack here, just cruising along, 180, 190 watts, top left, 15th gear, no problem at all. 1 mile gone, not even through half of the lead in yet. 19.2 miles to go, you can see the top. Again, 1400 feet, so this is going to be a bit of a test. So I was keen to conserve a bit of energy here. However, I did, again, I'm trying to push myself. So as you'll see in a minute, I wanted to go over these peaks, the small first peak, and just pull the riders with me. There's no point me waiting to the sprint. I've got to try and do my work on the climbs. As they say, it's blooming freezing in the UK, hence I'm having to wear a hoodie to start off. I know I've got the door open, but it's still very cold. Good for riding. I'm soon to warm up and I can take the hoodie off. Keep me at a decent temperature for this race. So yeah, just talking about my structured training, especially in the 12 weeks where I've got up to 3.7 watts a kilo. Really, really proud of that. If I can just improve my nutrition, now I know you're going to laugh at that because we're going into Christmas, but combination of better nutrition, if I keep the frequency of the Zwift Racing up, 2 times a week, one at weekend and one early evening after work, midweek, with a combination of improving my nutrition, perhaps losing a kilo, possibly 2, I reckon I can get to 4 watts a kilo. That's my objective 2026, but as I've progressed pretty well in the last 4 weeks, I'm going to try and see where I am at 31st of December this year. Certainly I'm 50 next year, and I want to be at 4 watts a kilo, which may even put me as a low Cat A rider. I'm not sure. Definitely a high Cat B rider for 50 years of age. The VO2 max is over 50. I think it's 50.2 now at the moment. So yeah, fitness, fantastic. So what are we? Probably half a mile from this. Just going up on this first ascent. Just cruising here. Look at the average, 217 watts. So completely different to the high intensity unlock series or the smaller Zwift Racing. But look, I'm right. I'm drafting beautifully there. Normally I'd be running away with it at the front. Right in the middle of the pack. However, here we go. I just wanted to, it was just too slow for me, that, knowing there's still probably 18 miles, yeah, just under 18 miles to go. I wanted to just stretch everybody. It was just far too comfortable for a race. And I don't want the heavier climbers, the better sprinters, to have an easy time up the climb, because that's my advantage. I'm a slightly lighter rider. There are a lot lighter riders than I am, but that's my advantage. So I wanted to push it 300 watts, just pull them, stretch them. You can see on the right, the graphic, that's just the rider in front isn't ahead of me. He's just on the course, I think. It's saying I'm in first. beginning to drop a couple of riders. So we're going into the climb. Now I was going to employ the same tactic as before on the yellow, which is working for me. Yellow sit down 330 plus, then on the orange, yeah, just get off the saddle, perhaps touch 400, do 480 there. That's perhaps a bit too much on the first climb of the first lap, bit daft that. But what I'm doing is stretching that group, and nobody's feeling comfortable. I know what it's like when somebody starts a climb and starts pushing, and you feel like you're in all sorts of trouble. I've got 25 metres on some of these riders already. Get on the orange, stand up again. What have we got here? 448, 450. Yeah, not as high intensity as on the recent unlocked race, where the oranges I was racing up at 500 plus. But there's no need, it's the first lap. I want to get to the top of the climb, let everybody know that we're in for a bit of a race, and then we're not just going to sit around dawdling around at 180 watts. So, feeling really good here. Perfect conditions it was. And stretching that group, I've got to say. And that's what I've been able to do. I've got a lot of confidence. I'm in form, and I've been able to do that. Not quite at the peak, at the top of this yellow. There's another peak with a barrier, but just keeping it above 300 watts, keeping the pressure up on the rest of the group. And it's stretched considerably now. There's quite a distance. Now, I'm going to ease up on the descent and get on the flat, but that's against the point. I'm just making everybody work. If somebody's going to beat me, they're going to have to work harder than me on this race. They're all catching up there, as you can see. Certainly those top 10 riders are. That's all right. Got the average right up to 254. So it's become a bit more serious now. I just need to hang in the draft there, using the power up, because I'll gain another power up just around the corner here on the next punchy kick. Here we are, they all come together now. So I'm going to have a little bit of a break here in a minute. They come flying past. Get in the draft, just pull it back a bit, yeah. Go up this climb with a bit of intent. There should be a barrier just over here, yeah. Yeah, comfortable. Through the barrier, get another power up, 16.2 miles to go. 4 miles complete. Lots of ride-ons. Seventh place. Got everybody in sight. Just need to close that gap a bit, make sure nobody escapes. 251 average. So fast forward now, nothing really happened. There's no attacks on me. Here we go, we start the big climb. Same tactic for me. I couldn't obviously stand the whole way on the orange, but look, 350 watts plus, sat down, 305 calories done. First place here. Again, just in a commanding position. It's usually what others do to me, to be fair. Now this is a big ascent here, so I've got to be careful. Can't be standing up early doors. Be suicide. Breaking the group again. That's what I've got to do. First part, get this orange, get this big orange bit, and then there's a flat bit, probably just less than a half away, a slightly shallower ascent, which we see in a minute. Yeah, you can see the riders are not letting me have my own way on this next bit. Now you can see a bit of a gap forming already, 3 seconds, 4 seconds between the top 6 or 7 or 8 and then the rest. So just put the pedal down there. So we've got a flattish bit here. Feeling really confident. Getting a bit warmer in that hoodie. Second place, very happy. 13.8 miles to go. Remember, this is just lap 1. Get off the saddle here. 3-4 seconds now. You can see the split on the top right graphic. There's still a bit of climbing on this second peak on the first lap. That's really going to stretch the group. Are they going to catch up? That's the question. I've got the feather, but I'm not going to activate that until closer to the top. There's no need. I'm in the front group. No need to waste it. This is the easier section. Look, flat. Even a little descent there. Descent. Still that gap of 4 seconds. Top 10. Interesting. 252 average. Here we go. Into the serious stuff. A long orange section. Bit of a break, and then there's another long orange section. I think there's a nasty red part right at the top from somebody else's recon. Got myself to the front there. So we've still not made any headway on breaking the group completely, but 3, 4, 5 seconds now. Peterson the Dane in whatever, perhaps 11th place. Over 320 watts is the key on the orange for me in this category. Anything more and I will make more progress. 367 calories burnt, 255 average, 370 here. Take some fluids on. Just under 5%. Started to stand up there. I can't remember doing that for so long. Still only doing the 330, but doing it standing up. 350, 330 again. 8 seconds now between myself and 9 seconds and Peterson, who's still doing 4.3 watts a kilo. But I must be doing, that's probably 5 watts a kilo, perhaps 350. No, 4.4, 4.5, sorry. Have a little tiny breather here, and then we're back in for the final push. Yeah, 10 seconds now. Definitely split that. You can see the split. There's 3 hanging on, 3, 4 seconds. And then there's that 10-second gap. I think when we go over this peak, you see the dark red on the top graphic. I've activated the feather. I didn't want to get dropped here. and I needed it. Struggling there, you can see, putting less than 300 watts out unless I'm stood up. It's a long, painful climb, this. Sit down on the yellow. You can see the blue, you can see the peak. That's a huge bonus. Yeah, there's definitely a split there. You can see it. We've dropped half the pack. Well, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you've got the Dutch rider at Mering 7 seconds behind. Then Peterson, Janssen, who've been dropped. They're not coming back from 12 seconds, especially when we go over as a group, that peak. They won't come back from that. That'll be 30 seconds. Especially if we push it on the descent. Sit down, a bit more hydration. 261 average watts, 21 minutes gone. So it's turned into a race now. It's all too easy earlier. Trying to put pressure, stand up. That nasty red bit, I think I have to drop a gear to get into that. I think it goes perhaps 7 or 8% here, just around the corner. So I see, yeah, it's a nasty climb to the barrier. It's more than that. 9.5, almost 10%. So I'm stood up on that 14th gear doing 500 watts. Really impressed with that. Can't remember doing that. Keep going right through the barrier. That's it. Yeah, stood up almost right to the top through the barrier. So get in the group, got a ride on. There you go, 1.5 hours. Just need to draft down here. Don't let them go. I've got the aero. Why didn't I use the aero? Power up. Weird. 12 miles to go. So there's a group of us. There's 3. Well, top 5, and then there's 3 behind. Let's speed this up on the descent. 500 calories done just now. We'll go through the first lap, and yeah, there's 44 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, top 5, and then there's 10 seconds between the next us and 6, 7, and 8. And there's 19 seconds. 2 more. The Dane and Melson, the Brit, holding on, and the rest have been dropped, really. 47 seconds. Not going to come back from that. Hoodie's come off for the second lap. Oh, serious. So go up this little starter. There's a teaser at the start of the second lap. Go over it strong. So the key is, can our group drop the 3, 4, 5 behind? There's an 11-second gap, but they could close that, especially on that first climb. They could quite easily close that with a push. 12 seconds, 17. I'm feeling real strong here. Belgian rider, the Greek rider, and then you've 2 Italians in contention. There's 5 of us on this second lap, basically. I'm pushing as strong as I've ever pushed. 254 average, 534 calories. Remember, this is a 20-mile race, and it's 1,400 feet to climb. So it's a bit more of a courageous test, a bit of longevity. The 3 behind the top 5 are now 16 and 17 seconds. If I keep to my plan, stand up on the orange, push on the yellows but sat down. We're going to take it away from that group behind. I'm going for a top 10 finish, remember. You might think, why am I not drafting behind? But no one's really drafting. It looks like they're struggling to keep up, actually, which I'm really pleased with. Just pulling away when they get behind me. There's nobody drafting. 3-5 metres behind. Not going to be feeling too much draft from that. When they get close, just take it away from them again. Yeah, he's trying to draft right behind me there, the Belgian. Just pushing it because I didn't want to relax. Because if you look on the right, you've got 5 of us, and then you've 21 seconds. I'm just going to sit, let somebody else. I'm going to use my draft power up. Never been so tactical as this race. Over the top there. We didn't stop, we didn't relax. You see 22 seconds, 23 seconds, 20 seconds. They're actually bringing it down. Here we go at the start of the big one again. We're 20 seconds ahead, 19 ahead of the pack chasing. And there's a pack of 5 chasing the front pack of 5. Fantastic race. Could I stand up on this whole orange? I'm trying, didn't realise. Yeah, they're still just 20 behind, so they're pushing it. I've got the feather, remember. Gotta save that. Had to sit down there. Look, I'm struggling to do the 300 watts sat down because it's a longer race, because we've already done this, 700 foot climb in lap 1. I'm not used to doing 2 of those. It's like a Zwift Unlocked times 2 basically, but not quite as high intensity. But doing that second climb, look, I'm in first here, so we look like we're dropping. We're completely dropping the second group here, the 24 seconds behind. But I'm just not shifting the other 4 riders. They're a second behind, which is 10-12 metres. I mean, that sounds a lot, but it's not. 2 seconds behind. Get up on the orange again. 5 miles to go. We've done 1,000 feet, nearly 39 minutes. 15.2 miles done already. And we're coming to the flat bit here. I guess we're all going to congregate again. They'll catch me here. So the 4 riders behind me are very strong. I'm not shifting them. I haven't tried a big attack, but I just... Oh, there he goes. Is that the Italian? No, the Belgian. I've got to stay with him. Just stay on his wheel. There you go. Pulling up beside him. That took a lot out of me, though. I've gone past him. Unintentionally. Wasn't concentrating. Get a little breather in. Still a big punch yet. I've got the feather. 4.8 miles to go. Someone's using a power up there. Right behind me, drafting there. The wick stance, Belgium's gone. Look, I'm having to do 438 watts and I can't keep up with him. That's killing me, that. Catch, get on his wheel, get on his wheel. 684 calories. As I said, this is like doing 2 Zwift Unlocked races. The double distance is a real struggle. Here we go up this final part. I've got to stay with that first rider over the top. Otherwise, there we go. I'm right back on him. Okay. right back in contention. Nearly 700 calories done, 256 average, but we've been doing that for 40 minutes. Look, my RPM's dropped below 80. You kind of lose control of your cadence, your power. We're going to the orange again. Surely I can't stand up on here. I've got the feather just in case I need it. Started standing up. I'm having to stand up to do over 300 watts there, 350 watts. Gone into the lead again, 4.2 miles to go. I look comfortable there, but I'm not. I'm looking up again, he's still on me. Someone comes flying through. Where have they got that pace from? No, sorry, they're different riders, I think. No, two of those riders ahead are actually my race. It's a bit confusing. Get to the top of here. Get to the top of this orange. 207 watts. Struggling. There, I've lost it. I'm in 14th gear. I can't keep it. I can't do 15. I've gone into 15th gear because otherwise I'll get dropped. 440 watts. Go on, just get over the orange. Get over the orange. Get to the top of that hill. God, it's a fantastic race. I haven't used my feather yet. Get over. There. Hold. 4 miles to go. Go and chase them down. Gone right to 139 watts. Blimey. There, I've gone into 5th. Catch up. Stand up. Get on with it. I'm getting frustrated. I can't catch them. They're dropping me here. They're dropping me 300 watts. 160 watts. Can't cope. It's too much. 240. They're so close, you think. There, stand up. Go and chase them. Got the feather still to use. Why didn't I use the feather? There, can I get into the back of the pack? Come on, keep stood up. There we go. I'm back. I'm back in. Almost. 105 watts. I've used everything there. Used everything. 258 average. We've done 44 minutes nearly. 3 seconds. The leader has got 3 seconds on me. That's probably... Come on. There's a little bit of a breather here. Get into that 4th place rider at least. I think he's getting dropped as well. There's 3 together that are working together. Then you've got the Italian. I've just been dropped there. That's where I've been dropped, yeah. I've used the feather to try my best to keep in contention. But they're just powering on. You can see the leaders almost 5 watts a kilo. Second place 5 watts a kilo. 5.5, 5.9, 5.7. Third place 5 watts a kilo. Fourth place 5 watts a kilo. I'm doing that, but I can't sustain it. There's one fine. I'm down into 13th gear as well. So even standing up, you can see I'm doing 250 watts. Go on, stand up. Show a bit of courage on that red bit. 357, 423, 426. Look, I'm putting it in. Flipping out. 442. Well done. Get over that hump. 6-7 seconds ahead of me. I couldn't. Yeah, they're around the corner. You can see them. I'm doing 109 watts. That's not going to catch. Not going to catch a fly around that corner. I stood up to try and chase them, but they're 14, 15 seconds. The leader is 21 seconds ahead. I've used the drafting boost. I've done that by accident. Can't do more than 150 watts here. 16, 17, 18. You can see they're drafting together. Look at the difference. So, okay. So they're going to work together on this descent. So I've got 4 riders behind me. 36, well, 5 riders to 47 seconds. They're working as a group and there's 3 miles to go. and they've 35 seconds to chase me. So watch this. So I fast forward it. 29 seconds, 28 seconds, 27 seconds. They're chasing me. 23, 21 seconds. But I'd done enough to come through in 5th place, which I'm really proud of. 21 seconds ahead. So an easy 5th place. 17 seconds. Well done to the first 4 riders. Fantastic race. 255 average for me. 3.4, but over 50 minutes. Huge effort there. Improving all the time.